In Don't Starve, everything wants you dead. The weather, the monsters, even your own sanity. And when you die, you start from scratch. So this time I'm pushing through winter, summer, and badgers. And a growling tummy. So welcome to Don't Starve, where I couldn't stop until I made it through a full year.
And we're back in this beast of a world. Ah!
Right out the gate, a giant bird came at me. But he was the friendly Carney Corvus and wanted to trade. But my bartering was quickly interrupted by a lunging threat.
Oh, Froggo.
Familiar with Wolfgang, I found his precious dumbbell for upkeep, maintenance, and rebuilding if I'd neglect his body for too long. Though that was all sorted in the past by simply bulking, now I had to keep him active not to lose all that muscle tone.
I am mighty.
The bigger Wolfgang gets, the more damage he can do.
Hurry up, hurry up. I'm just gonna do what I remember. Collect things. On the go.
I ran into the versatile beefalo. They're mostly friendly, except when their buttholes shine a very distinct crimson red, which is a sure-tell sign in the animal kingdom to stay away. But for now, they're all good and docile, which meant I could collect their precious poop. I cut as much grass I could muster and snuck up on this empty shell of a man, stealing his axe and hard-labored planks of wood. He shan't be needing them any longer. This reminded me of timber, to be used for emergency campfires whenever we're in need of either light or when our tummy's growling just a bit too much. In Don't Starve, everything wants to kill you, which is why I kept an eye on this suspicious-looking feline.
Wolfgang does not trust it. Same, Wolfgang. Same.
It was too dangerous keeping it alive. It had seen too much. I had to engage.
I killed the little purry thing, and I'm not even sorry. It's kill or be killed, eat or be eaten. Wolfgang knows this.
Night came, so I equipped a torch to keep moving through the darkness and map out a path ahead. I think most of you are well familiar with the game, even more so than I am, but if there's a late soul to the game just as I was, here's a quick recap of the mechanics. You've got your hunger, health, and sanity to keep in check. The trickiest stat is sanity. It's your mental state, affected by everything. What you eat, what you fight, even the vibes around you. You're out to survive and the world is your oyster. But be careful. If you stay in the darkness for too long, some womanly monster will gobble you up in just a few seconds, so stay lit. Day 2 arrived, and with it, a sensation of profound success. That's one day in the bag. A thicket of berry bushes presented itself, a feast for a growling tummy. I tried to grab a few, but they were closely guarded.
For the king! Got patriotic pigs here.
I'd put an end to his royal swine as subject, would I had a spear available, but that would require a science machine, which in turn required gold, that I luckily happened to find just nearby, but still missing a lonely rock for the contraption, I continued and grabbed already refined cut stone next to these skeletal remains and suffered an instantaneous level of atrophy. By good fortune, my leotard shrunk with my muscles.
If you don't have it, don't flaunt it. My flat chest is not something that I want to show the world. I don't have any quarrels with you, spider. Walketh away.
They forced the issue, but I escaped with a spider gland, an emergency band-aid.
Yay.
I put on the cloak of a hunter-gatherer to prepare myself for winter and saw something in the corner of my eye.
What is that? What's that? A motter? An otter? It's an otter motter. I haven't seen that before.
With its beastly den just off the coastline.
Oh, it's a turf war.
Between fishmen and pigmen, whom famously don't get along for their philosophical differences on how to approach life. They were too occupied with their own brawl than to notice my skinny jeans pass through to the next biome, where I found the last stone needed for my science machine. I didn't put it down willy-nilly, but would wait until dawn showed itself.
Cannot see. I am scared. I'm also scared. But I survived. Ah! Jesus! Walking eyeball. There's multiple. There's a whole heap of them. Oh, do I become stronger by manual labor?
Indeed. A few swings with the pickaxe did increase our might a little bit.
Stay away, bud. Oh, there's so many. But I got the body of a marathon runner, so that's fine.
I jogged on, shaking off the birds, but I was worried about Wolfgang's mental state. He clearly suffers from body dysmorphia and derives all his self-worth from the amount of muscles he carries. Leaving the biome, I had acquired 19 gold, an inventory full of stone, and a beak in my back. With the science machine set up, I crafted a backpack, rope for a spear, and refined the basics, because once you craft something, you can do it on the go. I also got a hammer, a shovel, set up a campfire, and prepared to stuff my face with carrots until satiated. A bonus was that it also restores a little HP from that beakly wound in my back.
Back on the one road and don't starve. Never thought I'd see the day. Thought I was done, but it pulled me back in. What's this? Insight gained. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
A mighty skill tree for a mighty Wolfgang. Suitably, I put a point into pushing limits, which meant my might meter could now go up to 110.
I'm gonna need silk for something, so I might as well.
The might as well approach is often applied when my brain gets this many impressions of novelty. But nothing had changed. The nest was big enough to spawn these yellow lunging spiders, which are quite the nuisance, and the few spiders I managed to unalive only gave me monster meat. So I figured I'd need some sort of protection. I got a sturdy log suit by the science machine, and remembered to disassemble it this time for its resources.
I don't feel very confident in my abilities so far. I mean, it's been a year since I've played this game. Or actually, this game, Don't Start Together, it's probably been 2 or 3 years. Time moves quick. And I'm all flesh and blood. We're all gonna die, sooner than later. We're all very cheery here at the Baba Ganoush channel.
Death is constantly on my mind playing this game. I had already covered a good amount of land by day 4, and mapping out the other nearby biomes, a marauder called my scent and pounced. I had no choice but to honor the duel.
Okay, fine, let's go. Let's do this.
He fought dirty and called for backup, but I dodged their snapping jaws. After the confrontation, I picked up my things and gathered the spoils, mainly food. I left the driftwood piece alone as I saw no use of it at the time. Moving on, I found mineable marble sculptures in the middle of the square. Destroying them gave me a bit of marble, of course, and closing in on the spider nest, I caught an opportunistic marauder rummaging through my backpack. My attack was compromised when I got a sudden boost of confidence.
Mighty, in the middle of battle. Come on. Be careful.
A rummage for a rummage, and in my rage I took it one step further and the boat started leaking. I tried to repair the damage with a couple of kelp laying around and use it as a vessel myself, but it was too late. The float was sinking. Then it started to rain. It drove me to a cave opening to avoid getting too wet, where I collected a bit of sapling and found another florid poster. Perhaps you can generate a world without an overworld. I don't know, but I didn't see any use of it, so off I went. Before jumping back to the surface, I investigated a possible umbrella or parasol to shield me from the devastating effects of being too wet. But I had neither pigskin nor enough flowers. Though fortune's blessings, the rain had stopped when I emerged. I found these ice formations, which lends itself to believe we're going towards winter. Autumn is most likely always the starting season if you don't make any changes to the world. I grabbed a chunk of it and left toward the enticing stage close by.
I can perform. Wolfgang is not just man of big muscles, a man of mighty feelings too. Flower monsters! Flower doggers!
My lackluster poem had managed to insult the vegetation, sprouting evil dog flora. Man, this world really wants you dead.
What was that? Thread? Sewing kit? Pretty parasol. I got a lot of stuff here.
Both protection from the rain and a stylish top hat. It suited my, as of this moment, very masculine head perfectly. So good, in fact, that it also removed the negative sanity drop the world so imposed on me. Day 6 had risen, and I wasn't too fussed about setting up camp just yet. I was on the lookout for mechanical creatures and their innards, which is gears, for a fridge or two, to stop food from spoiling and ice melting. I knew I somehow had to make use of ice during summer to combat overheating. My path took me past the valiant berry bush defender again. I couldn't pass on that pie again, so I sliced me up some bacon.
How much HP do you have? I'm Wolfgang, I'm mighty. I've got mighty feelings, I've got mighty muzzles. Got a mighty spear, got a mighty top hat, and I'm dying from this karate pig thing. Kung Fu pig. And I get a pig skin, that's all I get. Oh, bush turkey.
The berries didn't last long for my mighty hunger. I then stole a house and murdered the owner. It fueled my appetite for destruction, so I sought out more victims of pork. Meanwhile, I heard a very distinct growl and snarl in the background, so I prepared my body for war in various ways.
Bryce. Here they come, Bryce. It's just one, and he's dead. I got a new insight.
Pushing the limits was still my preferred path forward.
Bryce, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to kill you. Jesus, my head is as big as his body.
Big head, big head, big head. Working my way forward, I snatched a few brownies hot out of the oven and found a peculiar machine.
Playing card. Play with Jimbo? What is this? What could go wrong? I don't know, probably a lot.
It always does.
Jimbo. Oh. Hi, choose your joker.
It looked to be some sort of poker machine, and with the cards dealt, I saw a possible straight in my future. I ended up with a pair.
Pair is 2 multiplier for a final score of 602. Is that good? Some gold for you.
Gold is always handy, though my inventory was cramped as is, so I ignored the shiny reward and opted to check out the map.
Chester! Bow! Chester thing! Nice. Spider. Also. Kill. Words. Mouth. Good. Silk. Fantastic. Chester Rooney.
Chester, the bouncy chess companion. Extra storage, follows you everywhere, a goddamn legend.
That's good. Oh, Chester, you are magnificent. I got so much more space right now. Oh, is that the giant beehive thing? Yes, it is. Ooh, a blow dart.
There's supposedly a giant bee queen in that giant beehive.
What is that? Odd beefalo. It's not a normal hair cow. It's like the beefalo's weird cousin or something. Hi. That's a wandering trader. Buddy, what you need? Gears. Is this what you have?
Had I been desperate, I might have traded him for a cog or two, but I decided to try my luck out in the wild.
This guy's just a beefalo. I mean, he fooled me first. I gotta say, I actually thought I was a weird beefalo.
Yes, good on you impersonating a really dirty animal that well. Shovel in hand, I dug up an ample amount of berry bushes and found a new colophant trail. His meat could probably sustain me for a few days, so I started tracking.
Let's be quick about it, because night is imminent. And then it's gonna be really hard to track. Oh, the Pig King. Oh, a pamphlet. Oh, the Gloomer statue. I do remember you can do something with that to get like a Godzilla friend or something.
Somewhere in my ramblings, I forgot the important stuff.
Where is the track?
But as it happens, I found something even better than a colophant. A touchstone. This marvel of magical engineering can resurrect you in cases of your most untimely death, which is always. Wolfgang announced that the trail had gone cold, so I doubled back toward the Pig King.
Watch out for the pools of magma. Ooh! Ah! Watch out for the big dragonfly! What? Oh yeah, I just found a touchstone, so that's fine. That wasn't very nice. One hit and I was dead. I'm back, baby.
With the giant headache of retrieving my gear and not get sworn by man's best friend. The foul beasts were currently munching on poor Chester.
I need my things. No, Chester, you died. Oh, watch out for the dragonfly.
I grabbed as much things as I could.
I'm not sure if I can handle all these. Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm actually gonna die. No, I'm not gonna die. I've got the will of a warrior.
At least the will to kite them off to the Pig King and beg his curly clan to help me. There were only 2 left, which I handled alone before getting my things. But then another came charging through the fog of war.
Oh, man.
I remember someone commenting that you can resurrect at the spawning postern, so I headed that way, though I never got to it as I found another touchstone on the way. Lucky me.
I'm back, baby.
Those were all the touchstones available. The next death might be permanent.
I can't do this. I can't do this. Wow.
I circled around my 4-legged friends, though without Chester, I was missing some vital inventory space. So while I waited by a campfire for him to respawn, I smashed these skeletal remains and handled any vermin that snuffed us out. When the eye bone finally opened its eye, Chester came alive. I packed my things and sought refuge in the nearby pork village, and the king radiated hospitality.
This is where we'll begin.
I started off with a fireplace, built a new science machine and 2 chests to offload some of our items. I then reorganized a bit, planted my berry bushes and fertilized them so they'd start sprouting right away. Next on the to-do list, crock pots. For that you need charcoal, and the fastest way to get it? Burn down the forest. Blackened, they basically fall on their own accord and voila, charcoal.
Do I have enough for 3? No, but 2. That's good enough. Let's lift some. Just to get a base. Gonna need some muscles. There we go.
While Wolfie threw his weights around, I developed his dumbbells with a new insight.
Shouldn't I be able to go up to 120? Use the gym to push your mighty meter past its limit. I need a gym? No way.
That was disappointing news. Nobody wants to go to the gym. By day 11, we'd built a solid base for the camp and stocked up on essentials just outside the borders of Pigsville, where I noticed one of those magical rectums that can transport you to distant places if you dare crawling through. I was spat out between a forest and a spider web. I did my best to slay them all, but kiting this amount of arachnids is tough work.
I don't have that much HP left, so maybe don't do that.
Lure them away so half of them leaves. That's my process. Chester is also a highly part of the plan, tanking his fair share. More kept coming. It was a slog, but the spoils. A large quantity of glands, silk, and monster meat. I used 5 of the glands to collect myself a bit and then rode in again. Good thing the full moon lit up the night. One less thing to worry about.
How do I even dodge their attacks?
Beats me, and Wolfgang's atrophy and hypertrophy mechanics can really swing the battle, especially against me as it interrupts any action and freezes the character for a moment. The nest was finally mine, along with its smooth silk.
I could pick a few flowers. just to regain some sanity.
I realized that Rectum Road had spat me out to a place I'd already explored, so I went back through and found a new Colophant track. It led me from one forest to another where I spotted gears and mechanical horses. This instigated a very stressful situation. My HP was low and my sturdy log suit doesn't block all incoming damage, and I've yet to recalculate the subtleties of this game's combat and dodge system. I got them down nevertheless and held 6 gears in my hands. I continued north. If it's true north, I haven't the foggiest, but it was up from where I had aligned the camera, so more ice had formed in this rocky biome, so I took a crack at that and this trio of gold veins. In the past, I'd been able to quickly equip whatever tool I needed for the task at hand, throw a few labor actions in and then re-equip the torch quickly before getting devoured by the shadow monster. But at this very moment, I was unable to do so. I chalked it up to Wolfgang just being a massive lord of a wuss.
Damn it, Wolfgang. Grow a pair.
Day 13 consisted of chopping up ice. Perhaps a day or two early, but I remember that not only is ice a great method not to melt yourself away during summer, but it could also be used as filler in the crockpot. I doinked a tall bird's egg, not for any sinister intent I'll have you know, though I did just separate a chick from its mother, but to try and incubate, hatch and care for the little feather child myself. If its mother would just count her loss and give up already, I mean, it's just your own baby, come on. The giant bird was eventually replaced by rabid canines, but my insane pig posse was ready for the ambush and switched to murder mode instantly. This is why you fornicate with the pigs, people. With my new alchemy machine, I got a fridge and then put on my meal preppers with monster meat and ice and stored away the rest to keep its freshness.
Here we go. Meatballs.
The balls of meat heavily satiates you compared to a cooked berry or a single slab of meat. With night's gloom creeping in, I put down the egg for incubation and prepared my fire.
Oh, already?
I kept it incubating throughout the night. It changed color and some swine wanted it for breakfast, so I grabbed it before he could make an omelet out of little Timmy. Look at me, already attached to something I haven't even met. That is weakness, that is!
The Gloomer statue. I think I need to, I don't know, either destroy it or just stand by it during moonlight.
After the dream team dealt with the ravenous dogs, I enticed this bush turkey for 2 of his tasty drumsticks and headed out for grass. While digging up a thicket of berry bushes, I pondered if I should prepare myself to kill a herd of beefalo for their fur. I would needed to create a winter hat for its insulation properties come winter.
And beside the camp was a lot of rocks and stuff, so I can get niter to do an endothermic fire if I need to during summer. So I think that's a non-issue, because I think I can use the thermal stone during summer as well.
Perhaps I should focus on the task at hand, surviving winter. But I had done that so many times in the past at this point, so I was more worried about the troubles of summer. The morning dew of day 15 saw me on the plains where the beefalo roam.
Nothing to see here. I'm just collecting some stool samples. I'm a scientist. Actually, I'm not, but, you know, carry on.
But I scienced forth a few rabbit traps and placed them accordingly. Another insight gave me +5 in planner damage. I had no idea what planner damage was at the time, but apparently it ignores armor and other defenses and shoots straight through. I've never seen a monster wear any armor though. Anyway.
Maybe I should just shave the beefalo. That's the safer option.
Especially in times of hardship and low HP. I found a new track. It led me through pine forests and savannas, and this time I kept up with the trail.
Animal is close. Yes, he is. Look at that beauty.
The key to catching this elusive animal is to trap him. We can't catch him with our current movement speed.
I'm gonna trap him, and then I'm gonna attack him, and then I'm gonna eat him. I will punch you. You hear that, Colophant? You foul beast, I will punch you. Oh yes, the meat. The savory meat.
And the magical Colophant trunk that have healing powers. It's just a matter of cooking it or not.
Where is my camp? All the way down there. This way.
Passing my rabbit traps, 3 of them had already ensnared a coney each, so that was nice. And back at camp, I started the incubation process again now while my hungry allies had tucked in for a snooze. Really hungry myself, I cooked a pair of meatball dishes and figured I might as well prepare a doggy bag for an extended travel period. Oh, and I exerted myself planting more bushes.
Move.
I traded violence for a racer as I was worried winter would soon fall. And beefalo usually travels in herds, which can make it tricky to just kill one without getting swarmed. This would enable me to just shave off what I needed to make my hat. For that same reason, I prepared a thermal stone and eyed a bird cage, though I lacked papyrus. The bird cage is vital in order for us to get eggs for cooking, which I knew I needed for the ultimate dish, pierogi. Moving toward my furry friends, I involuntarily picked up a creepy companion. He seems friendly enough, but I have no idea what his endgame is, and god is he vile. Dawn was about to break, so I moved quick, shaving off 12 wools of beefalo. The downside to shaving them is they look utterly distraught afterwards. That's why I prefer killing them. The dead don't frown.
Sorry, my beefalo friends. It had to be done.
I took another rectum route in hopes it would toss me out close to a swamp. I instead tripped over this reverse ostrich, but happy times his meat was welcome and I stole another egg. But the dirty hole had yet again delivered me to familiar grounds. So on my way back towards camp, I explored the fog of war.
Well, that's a big one. Might be a spider queen in there. I've killed her once. It was amazing. I thought it was amazing at least. Some of you didn't. I don't care for you. A free egg?
I grabbed the egg, killed the egg hatcher, and put a point into chore workout, which gives me 5% chance to one-shot whatever manual labor I'm doing.
We're just passing through. Ooh. Straw hat? Fresh seawater fishing rod.
And a straw roll. Strolling through the desert biome, I spotted bone remains, and I was reminded of Maxwell's tooth traps. First from my ventures through his door, where I stepped on one and promptly died, and later in Reign of Giants, where I used them to defend my base. Turns out you don't need bone shards at all, just hound's teeth. I'd mixed them up. Still, I'm sure bone shards must have other uses. A small respite gave me an opportunity to continue the incubation of my egg, which a horrid vulture took notice of, I would assume.
No. I think they're after my egg, aren't they? Oh no, come on. I'm mad. Look how mad I am. I'm disgruntled is what I am.
My only plan was to head toward the spawning point. I had no more touchstones. I had depleted both. I wasn't even sure I would be able to respawn, it's just something I've heard. It was unfortunate I didn't have enough time to either confirm or refute the claim.
I'm back here. Baba Ganoush was killed by a buzzard. He became a spooky ghost.
I decided to give Wolfgang another shot, and I had at least refamiliarized myself with the game. Annoying newbie deaths are surely behind me now. Right? Right? Surely.
Got myself an axe. And a little mustache.
Well, would you look at that? I made an M&M. Attempt number 2 was deja vu. I basically repeated the exact same progression up to winter, down to the tiniest detail. Early touchstone, great. Early grave, not so great. My uncanny ability to rebuild the exact same camp could be a case study. And my winter prep, all wool and charcoal. Everything is going swell, and there were scientific breakthroughs happening. Unfortunately, the hard-boiled way. I noticed insights carry over between runs, so that was nice. I built a birdcage and trapped on an involuntary egg factory, whose poor egg hatching butt would be working overtime while I force-fed monster meat. The camp got its resource upgrades with transplanted sapling, grass, and I got farmland established with the garden digamajig, all protected by 2 lightning rods. Hard work, sweat, and tears pushed the limits of my deltoids, increasing my might meter to 120. Watch out, world. On day 21, the first snow fell, along with the red poopy buttholes. Watch out for those.
Hello, penguins.
Snuggled in my winter gear, hat, and thermal stone, I headed into the desert biome, usually home to dogs in dire need of a dentist. Unexpectedly, I happened upon a grove of tree guards instead. Friendly enough if you don't throw your axe around.
It's not for swimming. It's not... the dragonfly.
I kept my distance not to provoke an assault, and edging closer to the hound mounds, I primed my body for a long confrontation.
Yeah, we will need to attack. We will attack. We will descend upon the dog mounds, their houses, burn them to the ground, take their teeth, make traps of teeth. It's quite a lot of dogs though. And they are mad with rage.
Pumped up, 2 slaps with my mighty meat got the job done. But there were many, and their veins ran icy.
Might as well just freeze to death.
It was near close to an extinction event. I must have at least put a dent in their population and survival chances, and I'm somewhat proud of that. I took a small respite to work a new egg, being careful not to overcook it.
Whoop. Oh, shh. That could have been bad. That could have been bad.
36 tooth extractions later, I saw my way home through a close-by butt portal.
You didn't take me home, you took me farther away. But there's ice. Oh yeah.
Summer was obviously still on my mind collecting ice, but I'd also use it to cook meaty dishes to combat that extra calorie deficit during winter. I picked up a colophant trail. If you bag one and trim its hose nostril, you get a winter trunk, a key ingredient for a nice warm coat. But who interrupts a man on a hunt? The McTusk family, no manners whatsoever. All was going to plan.
Whoop, I'm embarrassed.
But if I kill all witnesses, it will be like it never happened. Anyway, there are valuable drops to be won here. Either the Tam O'Shanter, which along its insulating properties has a significant sanity restoring boost, and it can drop a walrus tusk we can shape into a walking cane for a slick plus 25% extra movement speed. The trouble is catching him. The kilt is really freeing up his stride. For once I get a little help from the Arachnid family, whom clearly oppose the McTusk family. For all that strain and effort, Mr. Tusk himself finally decided to turn himself in and accept his penalty. And I happened to get his tusk. Lovely. Chasing away jazz hands in the night, I had myself another embarrassing moment slipping on black ice, and I thought I was done for. But I emerged stronger. Plus, I don't think anyone saw my little blunder. Except you, of course. Dusk, night, and combat take their toll, and the shadow monsters knew me vulnerable, chipping away at the ice. Come daylight, I was homebound again, and had to sacrifice that little extra sanity, taking the scenic route, making me very susceptible to inception.
It's getting sweaty.
I'm pretty confident in handling one of the tall dark hosts, but two might be a bit of a stretch, when one wrong move will be your end. And one wrong move was made.
Where is it? Where's my portal? It's way off, isn't it? Oh, I'm gonna die again.
I tried my luck with a previously haunted touchstone. No luck there. So my only chance was the possibility of a second chance at the florid postern. Time was of the evanescence. It's going to be tight.
No, it didn't work! It didn't work!
When I got there, the disappointment was real. Turns out your mode has to be set to endless or relaxed for it to work. And who in their right mind plays like that? Not me, Anyway, I needed a change. Enter Wilson, the mad scientist. Well, fantastic. A really good decision. We can just put him to work gathering flowers, a few sticks and stones, then we can refine that plan into attacking a giant mechanical bull, and you're dead. This game is for players with characters that are still alive. Please step aside. Wilson was a mistake. We all knew it. Wolfgang's the real deal.
You know, I think it's the pants. I need to change pants. I can't. I'm forever doomed.
My science machine had me wasting away at a desk of blueprints, burning resources I didn't even have.
Oh, now, come on! Come on, man! Oh.
Desperate, I chased the glow of a swarm of fireflies.
Oh, this night is gonna be long.
Not that long. This scene looks familiar.
Oh, he kited me. He learns through evolving. Oh, no! I didn't take that into account that I was gonna... Report an issue.
Sadly, skill issue wasn't in the options menu. I was hoping to play as Wagstaff, but he was nowhere to be found. So I turned to Vigfrid, a character who eats her opposition for breakfast. I had last left her in winter during my previous 100 days, so she felt like the right pick.
Does she have a skill set? She does.
Maybe all characters have skill trees by now. I wouldn't know.
There's already been an unhealthy amount of tries trying to get past day 5. Let's see if Vigfrid can be the one who breaks the pattern.
I wouldn't bet on it. What makes Vigfrid so special is her picky eating habits. She only digests meat. But Vigfrid's best perk, every attack restores a little HP and sanity. That makes her a formidable foe, for beefaloes and oversized spiders alike. I found a few basic nests without a thrashing horde, so I nipped what I could before finding a stray outcast to stock the meat shelves.
Are you alone? But he's so scared. He poop. What a noob. I need not fear the single beefalo, for I am the beefalo slayer. He shalt fear me.
A well and inflated ego from a minor success. What a great start.
Butthole.
A muddy road led me into a swamp, lined with pigheads, grisly for the queasy. Luckily, a touchstone nearby settled my stomach. Then, a sacrilegious desecration of these statues gave me 10 pieces of marble, and a bit of gold meant I could break out the old machine for a backpack, leaving just enough for a torch. Lesson learned. I refilled my energy levels, put an insight point into higher durability for Vigfrid's battle helm, and proceeding the journey through another sphincter, I grabbed the nearby gold. Amidst the poop and vomit, I found a poor bloke dead beside his farmer's starting kit. Thank you kindly.
Hey, you wouldn't attack a guy with a battle helm, would you?
Codeless birds. I hope the weather up there suffocates you. Anyway, I reorganized my inventory. Weapons, armor, and tools lined up on the left so I could hot swap between them with keys 1 through 6. I was on the prowl again, snatching a lonely egg and looked to establish my base. But where are my trusted allies?
Pigs. There's no pigs.
Say what you will about the bacon, but they're basically family at this point. Expendable family, but family. I could go a few extra days without their help, so I burned my way to some charcoal. I eventually found swine, but alas, no king. And I walked past my safety stone again, so I figured I might as well grab the available pigskin from these impaled friends. Searching for bacon really drains the battery, so I recharged with a few beef sticks and I enhanced my helmet's durability even further. It is said that the pigkin can always be found at the end of a road, so I attached myself to every road I could find, and at the end of this one, I did at least find Chester, which was great news as I could offload a few items and continue collecting as the search party forged ahead through new rectal dimensions.
Haha, Chester, we're leaving. Man, that's so many legs!
By now, I figured they bundled up his royal swineness and cartwheeled him off to God knows where. But where would they take him, and who would dare? With such a massive load wobbling on a single wheel, I'm his only hope. I took care of a bush intruder and then headed to their biome for a tooth extraction raid, though I was first mesmerized by the sheer number of tumbleweed. By the time I left the biome, I had about half a dog's worth of teeth. Good enough.
Oh, there are too many. Oh! Baba, baby, boo 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 boo. The battle helm, Chester. I need the battle helm.
Growing desperate, I decided to map out the edge. Dipping back inside the ropes, I stumbled across a disturbingly large flock of birds. Nope, not today. Instead, I smacked the muzzle of a mechanical horse guarding Maxwell's effigy. That's a couple of gears down, and when day 11 arrived, after killing this tardigrade shadow, I finally found my precious king, stationary and well.
Oh. How I've been searching for you, my buddy, my friend.
I stuck to the pre-approved building permit, law-abiding as ever, and prepped for winter with a poofball hat, and I was about to plant my bush when I realized something.
No. Gloomer statue. Gloomer statue.
But there was another problem.
Oh, phlegm. I'm gonna need to kill a pig.
Protein was essential, and as established, family members are very expendable in times of need.
What in the world? Oh, it's full moon, of course. Damn Wolverine.
Excruciating hunger dropped my HP, so a tasteful Logan steak suited me just fine. I then rushed toward the statue not to miss the lunar opportunity, and there he was in all his glory.
No, don't attack him. Pick. Yeah, Gloomer's flower. Here we go. Hello, Gloomer.
Now we just wait for him to poop his gloop. That's all I remember. The rest we'll figure out as we go. I dug up this bush that reverted back into twigs and planted the rest by the shore. I deployed the digamajig, found a touchstone right by the camp, cut down some trees, and realized I would now have to leave the comfort of my company seeking out stone and a few woolly victims as my food stores looked grim. I reached the savannah and made do with cat meat and frog legs to sustain my beefalo scouting efforts. I dug up plentiful of grass, but the savannah looked abandoned. No beefalo. So, checking the map, I pilgrimaged toward bigger plains.
Oh yeah. Perfect. Wonderful.
It took me about 50 meters the wrong way, the world's shortest and most unnecessary butt route. While here, I toppled a few piggly spikes. The family doesn't need to know. Before setting off on my own two short legs, I had to take a detour and entice whatever edible animal that was around. And moles can be a tasty treat when hunger hits hard, and they look to be as ravenous for rocks as myself. 3 more and I could be on my way. On the plains again, my tummy now did its usual growl for sustenance, and with no beefalo in sight, I had to resort to killing spiders and cooking the monster meat. It cost me 16 sanity, but I wasn't too worried. At least the triple tier nest rewarded me with my own spider egg.
This is ridiculous. Where's the beefalo?
I only had one open field left to investigate.
Hello, what is this? Free chest? This is gonna start burning? Yep. But I got this one.
A fine staff, but the extreme hunger and food shortage must have blinded me from these very obvious and fine furs waiting to be saved. With the plains deserted, I gave up on the beefalo hunt and headed for the rocky biomes to mine minerals. I spent a point of insight in Arsenal, and it would be stupid to pass on 2 clubs of meat, even though it would be rancid bird meat. That ain't no tasty chicken. I got the rocks I came for and killed an additional 2 chickens in between before heading back to camp. And on my way, I happened to find a few bits of cut stone before arriving back to see pink goop poop from Gloomer.
What are those?
I don't know, but by the time I had a spear in my hand, the posse had already dealt with them, so they could handle the rest as well. The base got a whole plantation of grass, but there was a problem.
Do I need to fertilize them? I do.
With too many grass patches and not enough poop, I prioritized the berry bushes for crockpot filler. I also made 3 crockpots, because why stop at 1?
And I think, drying rack, yes. Drying rack.
1 rack offered 3 drying slots, so 3 racks might have been overkill at this point, but it does offer a tasty sight, wouldn't you agree? And meatballs was a welcome dish to savor.
What happens if I destroy the Gloomer statue? Is that the way I get the flute that I'm talking about, that you can summon what's his name? Godzilla's foot or something?
Speculative at the most, and his name is Bigfoot. But then my plans took a gruesome turn, courtesy of this fluffball's hatred.
No, what the You bastard! You killed my one and only? Oh.
So I guess that was that. No more Gloomer, no more pink poop. I stowed away his remains in my chest.
Gloomer. Beef or gloom bell. Revive the one you beef friend.
As you can tell, I didn't learn a whole lot through the crafting menu.
Let's see what happens if we destroy the statue. I only get marble.
Another dead end, so I averted my attention for more wood and 2 new chests before planting a couple of seeds and headed out to cut me some reeds for a bird cage. I could have sworn I'd already picked a bunch, but if so, they were now misplaced. While meticulously cutting the straws to a perfect length, I was involuntarily included in a fishman spider brawl, but it was a welcome opportunity to acquire monster meat in spades.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Until I became the main target for both the fishman and this whipping tentacle. Of course, I'd left the meatballs back in the fridge, so I hurried back to wolf down 2 portions, topping off my hunger. Suitably, my bird trap caught a bird, which I promptly locked in a cage. Here you go, you stupid bird. Hatch me some tasty eggs.
I think it's 1 meat, 1 vegetable, 1 egg of any kind. Ostrich, bird egg, doesn't really matter. And 1 filler, which makes pierogi, which is a great way to stay in shape.
1 exquisite pierogi restores 40 HP, truly the gourmet way to stay alive. The territory above my base was still uncharted, so I gave it a bit of attention, where I tracked another Colophant trail.
Hush, the creature is near. I will ride upon him. Or maybe you can actually tame him. I haven't thought about that. Maybe you can tame him.
Unfortunately, they are not for domestication. In any case, this particular one was made for the meat grinder. Back at base, I was after more poop, and figured I could thrust something into a family member's gaping maw to initiate a fresh bowel movement.
See if I can feed them some rot.
You can, but we'll understand later why this is entirely unnecessary and redundant. Plus, it doesn't give you any chocolatey goodness, but butterfly seems to have a laxative effect.
There we go.
It was all to fertilize my last 2 berry bushes, and if I would have been able to get some more, I would likely have revitalized a few patches of grass too. As the rain was pouring down, I made a lightning rod for precautionary measures. I think lightning is more prominent during spring though, and the rain quickly crystallized into snowflakes, which meant we'd now caught up with the mighty run of Wolfgang. Winter was closing in. I cooked more meatballs, popped on my poofball hat, and snuggled up with my toasty thermal stone before shutting down for the night.
Here we are. Why haven't I created a thermal stone? We need that for travel. I have one over there. Damn. Okay, obviously I shut down the game yesterday and I thought I didn't have. No. Fine. I mean, I'll put one there. Doesn't really matter.
You can never have too many scorching hot stones in your pocket, that's for sure. Forebodingly, Deerclops popped into my mind. I planned to rigger a trap, but first I needed wood.
Maybe the fire staff might be something that I could use against Deerclops. I should equip that one.
So for the majority of daylight of day 22, I collected wood until blisters popped and my tools gave up. After that, I prepared rope and walked off to a designated area a few steps from camp to keep it safe from Deerclops' earthquaking stomps.
Maybe I want it like down here. Yes, I think I do. Plant.
I cleared out debris for a clean-cut slaughter pit. Chester, of course, was of no help setting the traps.
Could you move yourself just a little tiny bit? Thank you.
Refining all that rope had depleted my reserves, so I made it to the closest savanna to restock. As I did, I kept my eyes pried for any signs of the McTusk family. Their ivory would mean a great deal for my movement speed. And speed was the name of the game, for my thermal stone had about cooled off, and there's not always much to burn out here in the open fields of the Beefalo, though now only inhabited by feisty canines. Still, a few extra teeth meant a few extra traps, a sweet silver lining, though the dogs might disagree.
Move. Is that meat? It is.
Speaking of protein, my meat had aged well into dried jerky. I cooked even more meatballs and threw together another pierogi dish. After all, my farm now had some produce to harvest. Just be careful what you put in the pot.
No, that's not pierogi. Stuffed pepper poppers. Can I even eat those?
As long as one of the ingredients is made out of meat, I'm pretty sure Vigfrid can shove it in her devouring face hole. While rigging the rest of my traps, I saw a few already sprung, so I reset them.
Well, it works.
I gave Vigfrid Mystic Resilience for +5 planner defense, and crafted a handbat for Deerclops prep. My battle spear wouldn't last long. I also learned thermal stones don't stack, and they still lose durability by the fire, so I stashed the Scalding Rock in a chest.
Don't. Is this chest going to burn? Please don't burn. Please. Don't let it burn.
Day 25 was lumberyard duty, plus an opportunistic event where a devious feline wiped out a pack of penguins. It didn't even care about the loot, just fueled by pure hatred. A perfectly normal house cat now that I think about it. Day 26 was busy work around the base, including a log suit and a slight culinary mishap. Intended meatballs became bunny stew.
Let's check for a walrus nest. Oh, there we have one. So... Oh, it's a long way off, but let's go.
Dusk and night decorated my travels, so I stopped for a warm respite whenever I needed and reached the McTusk residence at dawn of day 27. Mr. McTusk bolted for the sea, but she's a harsh mistress, even for a walrus. He didn't make it and tasted my meat instead. I was fortunate enough to get the tusk first try.
Where did old tiny little Grandpa go? Grandpa! I know where you live.
Blue dogs sometimes drop blue gems. I got 2 of them and tried to demolish the eye glow, but none of my tools sufficed.
Yeah, walking cane. I should get more gold then. And there's a lot of gold over there.
The biome was teeming with spiders, but I avoided conflict, circled around, grabbed gold and a stack of ice, and on my way home, rummaged through a scrapyard, where I got some interesting parts like electrical doodads, valuable gears, but also a broken WOBOT. I chucked the bot in Chester, enhanced the commander's helmet I'd previously unlocked for the purpose of a confrontation with a giant moose goose, as it would render me immune to knockback effects. Safely back at camp, I prepared an ice flingomatic for summer, only because I'd otherwise surely used the gears for something else by mistake. I also got the walking cane.
Boom. Cool. Oh, the speed in which I move. This might be stupid. I don't care. You gotta try stuff to learn stuff. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's my motto. That's my motto.
The Colophant trunk was spoiling anyway, so yeah, it became a don't do that again discovery. Just stinky meatballs. I then crafted my new and improved commander's helmet.
Oh, let's try the traps. Come and get me. What? Do they work? Yes, they do.
But rather slow at firing. Perhaps I've cluttered them up too much. Day 30 rolled in and still no signs of Miss Clops. Any day now, I thought. I grabbed a second log suit and hunted enough meat for another hambad. My first one was already going stale.
Food. Bring food. What are you doing? Bring food. 3 meatballs. Do I have any else? Shit. Here he comes. Pierogi. Meatballs.
Along with the cuisine, I grabbed extra wood for a fire, cleared any irrelevant equipment, and felt the ground shake.
He's here. I think he's here. Give me daylight. Give me daylight. Give me daylight.
I took my position, daylight came, and so did my probable demise.
Where are you? You're here somewhere. There you are.
I've laid out our stratagems. Now was just the time for execution, starting with the fire staff.
I mean, I can use that. I can use that. How?
As you can probably tell, my usual calm demeanor was long gone.
Let's see how many. 1, 2, maybe? Maybe I can do 3. 1, 2, 3. I can do 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, so far so good. So far so good. So far so good. I mean, I can just do this. I don't remember if he does anything else. I did 3. I just did 3. I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I'm delirious. I'm insane.
I was still a bit worried about the insane sanity debuff, quickly draining my mental fortitude. There had been a strategic step involving some sort of sanity-restoring mushroom dish, but that had been long forgotten. Scared that I might start to freeze at any minute, I ignited a campfire, though I didn't get that much use of it.
I killed him! No way!
I quickly snagged the eye not to burn it.
I got him! Yeah, baby! I didn't think I was gonna be able to kill him. He wasn't that hard. It was really easy, actually.
Whoa, slow down there, cowboy. I think there might have been an element of Vigfridness. She deserves most of the credit. What a queen.
And I got the eye. I've been worried for nothing.
With that unmistakable success, I pondered what to do with the eye.
I should like to taste it with my new allies. I don't think I should eat it, right? I think the eyebrow is what you want. Where was it? Eyebrow. An eye to the sky keeps you dry. I think this is the one we want. I think that's the thing you want during spring, to not get wet.
Victoriously, I hung up Deerclops meat for a triumphant display, and with the iridescent full moon, I again inspected Gloomer's statue, which had sprouted a new flower. And there he was, bothered by yet another hateful feline. With the mightiest of winter's adversaries taken care of, I flicked to summer mode by building the ice flingomatic and figured I would need one more to cover the entire camp. So ice and gears was on the cards.
That's a good area, I think. Emergency mode.
I stowed Gloomer in a chest and then headed toward areas still uncharted. On my way, I raided a pack of penguins, whom surprisingly let my greedy hands snatch their eggs without complaint.
You know your eggs aren't fresh. You know.
They were stale, so I swapped them for guano and tossed it into Chester. He loves eating poop. This small forest peninsula didn't offer much, so I found my way into a rocky biome.
Whoop.
There, I found an interesting moon rock, but seeing as my poofball hat had worn out, I relied solely on the thermal stone, and it was frosty. I had to give it up to burn this bush.
Oh, you wanna go? You wanna go? No, thought so. You're embarrassing yourself. Get the
Edging out the final stretch of forest, I learned how to craft the electrifying elding spear, and found another suspicious moon rock.
And we got the celestial orb. Research? I can research?
I've never dabbled in moon technology, but I was excited for the new blueprints nonetheless. So I grabbed the moon rubble and took my expedition through another forest branch until the spiders pushed me through a back door. Winter then finally thawed before our eyes, and I took it as a perfect chance to head back and prepare the umbrella, though the cold still lingered.
But I can manage without the thermal stone. I'll burn my way home if I need to.
The thicket of bushes was just too delicious to pass up. Hunger was gnawing at me, mostly thanks to all the tumbleweed rummaging. But then I found a patch of beefalo wool, so the pain came with a purpose. I would end up staying at camp for almost 3 entire days, scheming and preparing for upcoming tasks. Also, I noticed after a while that the Flingomatic extinguished my fire, so I turned it off. I then crafted the only thing I could from the celestial orb, the portal paraphernalia. Judging by the name, I thought it was a portal, and my hypothesis was only enforced by Siegfried's dialogue.
Portal prepared to be built. The best laid plans. I'm thinking I just put it down then? Maybe we're here?
Sadly, nothing happened, but judging by the pouring rain, spring was here. So I crafted the water-repellent umbrella and paid tribute to the king with a gnome I found in the woods earlier. He showered me with gold for it. A red bird flew straight in my trap. Good news. I needed 3 crimson feathers for a summer coat, and so far I only had 1. Spending some time enhancing the living standards of my camp, I planted bushes, erected another lightning rod, caught bird after bird, but all I got murdering them was morsels. Beats me why I couldn't just pluck all 3 of them from a single bird directly, but yeah. They kept coming and the morsels kept dropping. Sooner than later, I doubled the efforts with 2 bird traps. Organizing Chester, I incubated the egg a little.
No!
Another hatchable egg was yet again squandered to the insatiable appetite of a pig. But I got in a better mood when the dogs tried to launch an assault from the sea, landing on the beaches, which I found very amusing.
Nice. They're on the beaches. Just intercept them before they come ashore.
At the cover of dusk, I tilled my soil and sowed it gently before finally having the courage to mount another expedition on day 38. There were a few things on the summer's list, like gears for another Flingomatic, but also niter for an endothermic fire. A wet conspicuous chest, however, was not on the list. But I didn't complain and decided it was time for a very raw bloodbath.
But it's fine, this is fine. Am I gonna... This is not fine! What are you on about? What are you doing?
The queen ambushed me. I finished her hatchlings first, then gave her my meat's full attention. She went down easier than I expected, not gonna lie.
That wasn't an issue either. Damn, I'm good.
The encounter gave me a whooping 15 monster meat, a little bit of silk, and a spider hat to blend in with the diverse kind of arachnids. But I was eyeing the conspicuous chest with its enchanting terrarium, and somewhere in the vast echoing halls of my subconscious, a little voice urged me to place it on the ground, perhaps the ghost of an old comment guiding me.
Terrarium. Touch. What am I doing? What did I do?
Something stupid, most likely.
Oh! You feel an evil presence watching you. Commander's helm. Let's do another Who's that? Oh my god, what is that? What the
The hideous eyeball zoomed at me with full force before hatching a tiny hideous eyeball. And if I've learned anything in this game, is that you always kill the grotesque monster's offspring first.
Siegfried, I need just a helm at least. Oh, it left. Oh, I just take a break here. What the it's a giant eyeball. It's amazing that I haven't died. Woo! Woo!
So the botched eye job seems to be constrained to nighttime, which meant I can better prepare myself for the next encounter. You hear that, eyeball? I'm coming for your last good eye.
You know, I think my greatest enemy is myself. The lack of knowledge that I have of this game.
That is surely correct. The trick is to stay out of one own's way. After that stressful encounter, I winded down chopping a little bit of wood and then moved toward rockier biomes.
Can't help myself. Free sticks.
I took a shortcut through a swamp, where I killed a mosquito and got slapped by this tentacle, but all worth it as I got to join 2 tentacle spikes and burn this annoying spider pestering me, which of course set off the entire nest. After I shook them off by running around for a bit, a tactic that usually works in this game, I left Chester and tried a more unorthodox approach.
Still no match for me. Oh, maybe I can talk to another spider queen. Oh, there's a lot of spider queens here. Finally, a true test of my abilities. What the What in the name of all that is good, pure, and holy? There's just spider queens.
And no one was well versed in the act of good conversation. I expected more, to be honest. I kept to the edges after that, mining through dusk, and with rain squirting down, I feared the power of weather might come strike me down.
Is that insulated? That was a big thing during shipwrecked. I kept getting struck by lightning.
I got an answer from above.
Oh,
I kept at it until I had a full stack of niter, and I was about to track a colophant when a shadow crept up on me. The ever-long dusk had slowly nibbled away at my sanity, an adverse effect of spring. Honestly, all my vitals were looking grim, so I dove into a wormhole through the arachnid queen's turf.
it's gonna spit us out. Yeah, a little bit closer, maybe.
Not really, but I don't like to admit failure. I was keen for a bit of sanity, so I whacked these spiders, but was interrupted, and that was it for my own sanity.
Just go home. Let's just go home. What are you doing? You're putting yourself in danger. Vigfrid, you're putting yourself and everyone else in immediate danger. I need you to give me the stone. Damn, I could be a movie star.
I got what was left of me back to camp by day 42, where a fleshy bulb had grossly violated my personal space. I was hungry, sure, but food had not been a problem for many moons now. With all that monster meat, a fair bit of berries, and ice as filler, I had meatballs for weeks. My traps worked overtime ensnaring birds, all of type crimson. All I had to do was murder a bunch, and I finally got my third feather. A crow snuck in between entrapments, but I knew how to deal.
Just kill the crow. Kill the boy. Become the man you were always meant to be.
I took a mental health day, finished up my summer rest for warmer days, and put on my gardening hat for a bit of farming. Researching plants added nodes to the registry, basically just good or bad. Not exactly groundbreaking science, and I didn't know how to use it.
I've got a potato.
At least that was good news, and while planting a seed, I grabbed a rotten watermelon and made an astounding discovery.
I can fertilize with rot? Oh, that's gonna be so much easier then. Can I just pick 40 flowers and let them rot as well? That would be badass. It would. Yes, it would. It would be badass. What happened here? You go back there. Probably died. I didn't feed it for I don't know how long.
Birds seems to seek their way into my traps willy-nilly, so luckily I had a spare. I took the last of my fertilizing manure, revitalizing these bushes, and then prepared the endothermic fire.
Alright, we off to? I still needed gears, right? Yeah, I still needed gears. And the only place I haven't checked out is up here and there so far. Maybe the tip over there, but I don't think that's gonna give me anything. So we move up there. Yes, we do.
The hounds always pick the worst timing, and their numbers seems to have increased. The trip would take a day or two, so I grabbed logs along the way and bashed a couple of swine. You might ask, Baba Ganoush, why kill your sworn brothers of pork? Well, these are outlawed pork, outcasts, so they're fair game. And another pig's house is another man's building materials.
Where are all the gears? Where's the horse people?
I squeezed through a bushy pine forest, and after combing the rocky lands, I'd finally outlined the whole map.
Not much left to do. There's supposed to be a chessboard somewhere so I can go to another land, isn't there? Or is that not part of Don't Starve Together? Is that just the base game?
I had hoped to generate a new world thriving with beefalo, but I guess we'll never know what could have been. I found a straw hat with a matching straw roll, and the idea of seafaring suddenly popped into my head.
Yeah, I can build a boat, can't I? Seafaring. Grass, raft kit. Fun for a quick weekend getaway.
With sturdier options available, I figured I might as well broaden my horizons. I still had no urge to touch the caves yet, and with summer coming, most of my brain power would be spent just staying alive anyway.
Moon rubble. Should we bring the celestial stone to this place? See what happens. Perhaps it crashed from the heavens, yeah.
Another side quest for an otherwise barren land sounded good to me.
And I've yet to see any moose gooses. Speak of the devil. Where's Mama Goose? She dead? Do I attack you guys? Chicken for dinner.
Wherever she was hiding, I'd flush her out.
Yeah.
I applied my usual method for gauging the delicate attack patterns of a beast, or in this case, a silly goose moose. With the commander's helmet to suppress knockback, I felt confident it might even keep her from slapping the weapon out of my hands. That hope vanished when her trout face blasted a trumpet roar. Turns out the knockback immunity only applies to me.
Trader, don't come and trade now. I'm busy.
Persistent and unbothered, he walked on through, blending in seamlessly.
How much HP do you have? This is ridiculous. Oh, there we go. Ah! Oh! Oh, they are out. They are out to get me. Do something.
Darkness surrounded me, and it imposed a profound feeling of dismay. But I got a fire going.
How are we gonna do this? Ah, can I kill them? Ah! They're so much more aggressive than they were before.
I resigned to a dance of gooses until first light, when I finally found their feathery underbelly. After their whirlwind spin, it left them disoriented and vulnerable. It took a fair bit of time, but with the walking cane, I could swiftly hunt down target after target.
This is how we do it. I can't let you grow up to be big goose mooses like your mother.
Best to remove the threat while they're still young and don't grasp the concept of vengeance.
Hell yeah.
Potential future threat eliminated. After the brawl, I collected the remains consisting of down feathers, meat, and tasty drumsticks. That was 2 seasonal giants down for the count. 2 to go. I still had a bit of this swamp to uncover.
Whew. Whoa. 3 factions. The mermen, the spiders, and the tentacles. Let's stay out of that one, Chester, shall we?
Just passing through, don't mind me. I dove back to camp and repurposed spoiled food as fertilizer. Picked the berry harvest, hung the goose meat to dry, expanded my private forest, built 2 new chests, and of course made meatballs. To begin my seafaring shenanigans, I would need a think tank, sort of like a science machine for the sea.
I'll build it here. I mean, boat kit must be a boat.
A fair and correct assumption.
Yeah.
Though it was more like a hull of a boat than anything else. This wouldn't sail far without a little help.
Guess I need a rudder, maybe a mast. I need it all. Mast kit, sail away.
It would cost me pretty much a bit of everything, including gears, which I still hadn't found for my second ice flingomatic yet. So I had a lot to collect, but the iridescent orb was pulling me toward the moonstone.
What is happening? What is happening? Everything is being petrified. Is it because I have this one?
When things spontaneously fossilize in your presence, you pull out the old pickaxe. Too bad the loot was as disappointing as my orb endeavors.
Oh, bummer. Bummer.
So I focused on timber for the boating project.
Alright, that's enough.
46 fresh pine-scented logs, not a bad day's work. A mast and sail needed silk, which this spider horde had in spades. But I still didn't have a solid tactic for a swarm, even with a pretty boulder to hide behind.
If we're lucky, we might find a lot of silk and stuff over here.
A solid plan. Tentacles and spiders usually hate each other. I slipped away with 4 silk.
We grabbed a little, Chester, but I don't want you to die, so we're gonna leave. This is just getting too dangerous.
With little to no hope left of uncovering more mechanical chess pieces, I resigned myself to the art of bargaining.
Let's trade with the giant bird, shall we?
But he wasn't a trader. He was running a carnival, and I accidentally enabled his circus obsession. Twice.
I'm purchasing things that I don't want to purchase. I need to find the beefalo guy. Now I have a cuckoo spinwheel kit and a carnival sapling. It's exactly what I wanted.
But then, a miracle. A bullish dance turned bittersweet when he trampled Chester.
Thank you. At least I got 2 gears out of it. I got my 2 gears. I can get another isoflingomatic at least. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you.
While waiting, the murderous hounds brought backup. The Wurglet was a lot bulkier, but other than larger teeth and a larger appetite, he went down all the same. He dropped 4 monster meat. While waiting some more, I also grabbed 3 sticks of meat and picked whatever came into my path exploring.
Welcome back.
Reunited, we headed home and fired up my second ice flingomatic. It immediately went haywire. So I guess summer is just around the corner. Anyway, I turned it off not to waste any fuel. I dug up exposed bushes, placed them inside the flingomatic's perimeter, fertilized my dead grass, and planted a few more trees.
Row, row, row your boat. Maybe that's fine. Maybe I just need an oar. What the fuck is this? What is this? I'm barely moving. No, we're not gonna do this. Add fuel. Fuck that oar.
The last of my beefalo wool went into a new commander's helmet. I then crafted a steering wheel, a deck illuminator, a personal floater, and a mast kit for my new vessel.
I need it all. I need it all.
The boat kit didn't come with any instructions, but as a Swede, I've got a black belt in IKEA builds, and I would say the results speak for themselves.
Chester, at dawn, we float away. far from here.
I got a taste of summer's horrendous effects, but I've come prepared. So I lit the endothermic fire pit, busted out my summer's Frest, clutched my trusty thermal stone, and kept the chill flame glued to the hotbar for overheating emergencies. After fumbling with the controls, I embarked on this grand new odyssey. And honestly, there's no other way to put it. I was at a total loss for words trying to steer this bathtub of a boat.
Oh. No. Come on. I'm no master boatsman. Let's see if we can get a boat repair kit, because I don't want it ruined right away. Boat patch. Yeah, I needed a stinger. So I've already probably sunken my first boat.
Not bad for a first voyage.
Oh, it's hot.
And it was still hammering down. So far, I hadn't dared dip my toes into the dark arts of magic. The thought alone was unsettling, but maybe it had its perks, like a meat effigy, promising resurrection powered entirely by raw meat. I also remembered to flip on the isoflingomatic. While it was busy squirting water everywhere, I noticed my farm soil looked a little parched. So I knocked together a watering can, no water included of course. But hey, I had the look down. That's half the job done.
This should be the last of the rain, right? Because it's summer, it should stop raining, I think.
I wasn't too sure. My umbrella had broken, leaving me exposed in the downpour, and the straw had only helped a little. Meanwhile, the flingomatic kept putting out my fire. So I built a new fire pit just outside its reach and reflected on my struggles.
I'm getting wet. I don't like it.
That morning, I fashioned a trusty hydrophobic device, an umbrella, dried off by the fire, and set out to mine some gold and niter.
Ice is now at a premium.
Just like low-end bass, cut out by summer's filter. It actually annoyed me so much that I thought it was a bug, so I rebooted the game to no avail.
It doesn't matter if it's winter, autumn, spring, or summer. We're still slaving away. I think the umbrella also offers protection from the sun, not just rain. So when this happens, we should do this probably. And this. See if that helps. Does it help at all? We're still warm. But we're not taking any damage. Yet. Okay, never mind.
Preventative measures like the summer Frest, straw hat, and umbrella shield you for a while, but given enough time, the sun always wins. So weirdly enough, I found myself longing for dusk and a cool breeze. Another devastating effect is the increased food spoilage. My meatballs had already gone bad, so I whacked a walking meatball on the head for a fresh set of clubs.
Niter and grass. That's all we're gonna need. Niter and grass. Unless I can get that big ice cube on my forehead. That's probably gonna help. I'm probably gonna get wet though, because it's gonna melt a little bit. Yeah, it's a trade-off, I guess.
By the end of day 59, I had enough. So before collecting more grass, I dipped back to relieve my inventory and fueled my legs with way too old meatballs.
Ugh. Ugh.
And trouble had sprouted along the way.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, wow. Whoa. Almost died by a flesh-hungry flower. Chester? Chester?
I guess Chester had wandered into the same thorny trap I'd blundered through, but I couldn't be sure until I finally dissected the centerpiece with my handbat.
You ate Chester. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you do that? Oh, that's all out.
Naturally, I tried refilling it with ice, even gold, but all it wanted was wood. Not super straightforward, but fair enough. I'm sure there's some perfectly good explanation for the madness.
My boat! No!
I tried to apply the same logic to the watering can, but without success. I then grabbed a few fresh pierogi for my health, cooked a few pots of dried jerky, and headed out for more flingomatic fuel. The force were out to get me though, with multiple birchnut trees coming to life. Luckily, you can easily outrun them, as well as the odd spontaneous combustion of a tree.
What? No, somebody's killed Gloomer again.
I had a hunch of who the culprit might be. By this point, I had googled Gloomer, and unfortunately, the old bell can't be retrieved in Don't Starve Together. It's an exclusive part of Reign of Giants, so there won't be a glorious demonstration or visit by Bigfoot. My own smelly feet will have to do. There's probably some use for the pink pooper, but that will remain a mystery. To help with the overbearing heat, I crafted the most ridiculous contraption yet, an ice cube hat.
I did a sneaky Google search for the watering can. I can refill those at a pond.
Summer left me in stasis, paralyzed, moving at an alarmingly slow pace. I knew I needed to breach the comforts on my base though.
So right now I don't have another objective than to survive during summer.
Unless filling up a watering can counts as a side quest? I traveled light, ditched the backpack, cleared out the non-essentials and kept the negligible items in Chester.
What The Earth rebels against us? Is it an earthquake? It's an earthquake. Ooh! Right? Was it? Ah! Oh, I thought a big larva was going to come at me or something.
Entirely possible. I had no idea if summer even had a seasonal boss, to be honest. If it did, it was probably some giant larva.
Yeah, just disappear right in front of me, why don't you? What? What's happening? Rabbito trapperu.
Summer's rot had me worried about food, so I whipped up 4 rabbit traps in case I craved stew. I didn't dare make more as they cost a ton of grass, and that morning had me understand why it all disappeared.
Withered grass. Withered, 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 withered. Oh, hell.
Afraid I hadn't gathered enough, I headed into the forest, hoping it was still moist enough for grass to grow. Passing a watering hole, I dipped the can to fill it. The idea was to keep my grass back at base from withering a little with the help of old Squirty here. And perhaps I could have used it during this blazing melee.
What? They burn! Everything burns! Everything burns!
The flaming dogs dropped a couple of red gems, so that was nice.
So the forest provides some protection for the grass, I guess? It's not as hot as at the savannah. Things just spontaneous.
So far, summer has been a bit of a bitch. The grassland held a suspicious dirt pile. Maybe a summer cold could turn the tide, whatever that meant.
A summer Colophant can help. I'm sure of it. I don't know how, but it's gonna help.
The gal was a bit slippery as usual, but the hard work would make her meat taste all the sweeter.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Back home, I found the farm overrun with the wrong kind of flora.
Okay, I need a weed whacker of some kind, or...?
There were no such thing in the crafting menu, so I jumped on the grass still standing strong, most likely due to the Flingomatic working hard at preventing any wildfires. And I worked out that the golden shovel did the weed dirty. I don't think the shovel needs to be that of gold, but I like things shiny. I tilled and sowed the soil, watered the field, to Vigfrid's indifference, cleared thinning berry bushes, fertilized with vomit, and strapped a heap of meat to dry.
Oh, earthquakes. Not again! Not again! 'Tis the footsteps of a giant. What? Oh! Is he invisible? Is that it? It's his footsteps, but he's invisible? I'm not sure if maybe I'm being too cocky if I go and trying to get the bee queen.
Until the foul beast would show himself, I'd go on a hunt of my own.
We're going beekeeping.
Previously, I tried to whack the hive without success and figured I needed a beekeeper's hat.
Ah, this didn't do anything.
Far be it from me to claim this was the master plan, but I had other tools at hand.
Oh, hammer. No way. Oh, shit. Whoa. Oh, her honey is slippery.
Sticky, and her stinger sharp and unforgiving. I tried to dispatch her queen's guard, but they were all fighting as a happy family.
Ah! She goes back. That's fine.
Whoa, my transgression against the queen united bees of all sizes.
Hey, stay here, you big buffoon. No way, she flew
away to a land not of milk, but of honey.
Okay.
Thinking I had squandered my one and only chance with the queen, the giant cocoon rose once again. But the feeling of inadequacy drove me to uproot grass over at the savannah.
Where's the grass? Do I only get regular grass? Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Withered grass can't be uprooted and replanted.
Fine. At least I know how to get grass then.
That I did. So I got some more before turning to a new venture.
Let's take a look down inside the caves.
Much encumbered, I reorganized a bit and had to release a rabbit back into the wild. Not even the hole wanted this tainted rabbit, so I just left him and spelunked below, where I was greeted with a friendly earthquake and the sight of something that brought back some painful memories.
Do I have meat on me? I do, I have meatballs. These are rabbit hutches. Stay away from those.
Rabbits are basically vegan and climate activists, but with a bit more resolve. If they find a trace of protein on you, they'll swiftly mobilize and kill you. It can be a gruesome scene, really.
How sweet the taste will be when autumn comes. Oh, so sweet, so sweet, so sweet.
As you can see, it was a short and not very fruitful visit to the caves. I made a designated rabbit hutch chest to store the conies, and with the 2 splashes of honey acquired, I thought I'd make honey ham, as honey is not as likely to spoil. But leave it to me to forget the whole thing and never touch the honey again. 7 jerky was claimed from the racks, so I had 23 in total now. Food hadn't really been a problem since day 10. Forgetting the meatballs at base is a tiny brain issue, not a food issue. Dawn of day 68, and I grabbed a shiny axe and tore through the woods until a tree guard angrily uprooted himself myself in the defense of the wooden realm. I let my pig posse handle the matter while I defied him even further by cutting down another tree right under his own bark. It felt good. All in all, it was a great sequence of events that yielded a bunch of living logs and also now the processed meat of a few pigs, so I shan't complain. Looking back, I feel like my fear of running out of grass was a little unfounded. I had plenty available, and my insights were coming along nicely. With Noble Mount 3, I could soon get the battle saddle, though what use is it without its beefalo? And I had previously unlocked a new shield and spear. The invisible giant pulled up again, so I quickly left camp in fear of having it demolished, this time by the footsteps of 3. I then watered the plants and filled my head with useless knowledge about non-meat. I feel you, Vigfrid. Safe to say I fumbled for purpose during summer.
I'm leaving, but I'm not sure what I'm leaving towards. I have no plan. I have no plan at all.
So I spelunked yet again into another planless hole.
Oh? Oh, a cookbook.
With the torn out pages of rabbit stew and a spicy chili recipe.
Stuffed poppers. Well, look at this. Oh, 30 HP. This is not bad at all. Bacon and eggs, 20 fish sticks. Yeah, I like fish sticks. Honey nuggets, 20 HP. I used to love honey nuggets. I used to love the nuggets. Froggle bunwich. Oh, look at the frog leg sticking out. Did you have anything? No. That's why you're dead. You didn't cook anything.
Another soul starved for the lack of culinary skill. It's an epidemic.
We leave Chester. Where? I don't know. I've discovered the entire world. There's only one way to go, really. No, not there. Out at sea. That was way too hard to steer the boat.
But at the grace of a cloudy morning, my future looked bright.
Oh, it's not as hot anymore. Is it first day of autumn? Oh, let it be first day of autumn. Autumn. Let it be.
I tussled with a couple of frogs. Their tongues and my hitbox were especially annoying, but I was a rather happy camper anyway.
So I could go back, get my backpack, perhaps the shovel, maybe do some more gardening. Everything is it's just so much easier during autumn. And I've basically completed the challenge now. I've basically done it. I've done it. Don't you say otherwise.
I knew there was at least one more thing I had to do before ticking off this challenge, if only for my own sense of accomplishment and sanity. The giant badger. And he should appear sometime during autumn.
Well, looky. Let's get our third gloom guy. You stand here. And do nothing.
Kind of like what I did, just shallow busy work for an entire day. Tugging at my crops, the plants didn't yield without a fight. Farming's tough work. I figured nighttime had riled them up, but they were as feisty in the morning. I trapped and imprisoned a new egg hatching system. The old had either escaped or hatched its last egg, and I felt ready to endure the painful sting of beekeeping again.
Oh, it's sticky. It's sticky. Must be a better way to do this, right? Let's see if I can burn them.
Set ablaze, they tucked and rolled, breaking off from the swarm. I finished the rest with my log suit in tatters, but she had hidden a fresh batch of hatchlings beneath her honeycomb skirt, ready to deploy.
Oh, no. Let's leave. Oh, my God. I can't dodge her attacks.
Her homing stinger proved too much for me. With my tail tucked yet again, I followed the tracks of a coliphant and had it trapped by nightfall, killed by early light. I then sliced off a piece of bacon, harvested berries, including a bush, and cooked the coliphant trunk, restoring a bit of HP. I pushed frog legs through the egg system for pierogi. At least that was the intention. The use of a watermelon cooked it into the usual balls of meat, so presumably a watermelon doesn't count as a vegetable. I then put Vigfrid through the nasty ordeal of farming before turning my attention to my next objective, seafaring.
An anchor this time, maybe. Steering wheel, of course.
What more does a successful voyage really need? Well, perhaps a boat patch or two, as I anticipated a lot of busted cracks in the hull due to my poor navigational skills. So I quickly got 19 stingers, with 11 honey, and while gathering the last timber I heard it. The distant roar of an autumn beast.
I need to prepare myself. I got the commander's helm, log suit, but I don't think I need anything more.
Like clockwork, the hounds make their untimely appearance. The traps did most of the work while I danced them round and round, until they were nothing but dust on the wind. I reset the traps for Badger, and while waiting for his paws to trample through camp, I opened the workshop and knocked together 5 boat patches for future nautical mishaps. I waited a whole lot, but waiting only gets you so far. The itch of passiveness was too much to bear, so I chopped some wood, cooked up more pierogi, and peeked through the terrarium. Unfortunately, it stayed inactive through dusk, and the night was as brief as my own attention span, so I figured I'd hold off until winter's longer darkness for another try. Instead, I mounted the mast, set the wheel, and dropped the anchor onto my vessel.
Hey-oh.
Tired of the endless psychological standoff between man and beast, I set out to hunt the badger bear myself. Heading north of camp, I stumbled on some promising new food.
What are these? Some sort of horse?
Eating a nice juicy horse is not unheard of, but they were apprehensive by my approach and took offense when I tried to beat them with my handbag.
Just herd them towards the water so they can't run anywhere. Oh, Jesus, there he is. Okay.
Docile, he just wandered the woods, not aggressive at all. Maybe he's just a misunderstood creature. So I made the first move.
Boop. Whoop. Oh. Ah! He's crazy.
Berserk, he thrashed forward. Whacking and flailing, he whacked his wacky and flailing paws in the air.
Lead him to my traps. Where's my traps? This way.
These pigs weren't the traps I meant, but I appreciated their ambush.
Yes. Take him. Take him, my sweet swine.
They held his attention for a bit, until he snapped and went into an even wackier paw-flailing frenzy.
Wow!
I finally got him on track, but then he caught a sudden case of amnesia.
No, don't. No. You... He just walked all over him. There we go. That was kind of funny.
The fight dragged into dusk. Nearly every trap sprung and my torso shredded. I patched myself up with a couple of pierogies. And just before nightfall, an unexpected hero emerged from the woods.
Yeah. Oh! We got him! The birch nut really did his thing. Thank you so much.
He left us a thick fur. Looks cozy.
I got him.
He was by far the toughest of the seasonal bosses so far. That's 3 out of 4 down. As for that burrowing worm thing that plagued me all summer, I haven't the foggiest. But I'm sure you'll fill me in down in the comments. That night, a pair of twiggly twinkle hands ruined what might have been a decent rest. So come morning, I took my frustrations out by collecting what Badger had left in his frenzied wake. It was quite a smorgasbord of timber. And in the afternoon, I turned my attention to a hunt. The bowl-cut horses were quick on their feet, surprisingly durable, and even worse in herds. I could barely tell which one I'd already pummeled half to death. I had read that the pan flute could lull any creature into sleep. And sure enough, they dropped like logs. But even after a dozen bonks, not a single one stayed down.
They have so much HP.
I kept at it.
I'm gonna spend a couple of days just trying to kill these guys. Don't go into my crops.
Finally, their herd mentality dropped the weakest one. But the effort wasn't justified. A lousy 2 meat, probably spoiled by fear, and no trophy to show. A double whammy. Still, with Badger skinned, autumn, winter, spring, and summer now behind me, the challenge felt complete. If the sea swallowed me whole, I'd have no regrets. So I set sail ready to leave my mark on open waters.
Forward!
Floating by came 2 driftwood pieces. I had made it a decent way out before realizing I'd forgotten my personal floater. So if I dipped a toe in the deep end, I'd probably just drown. Still, I carried on, fine with the demise. My boating skills, however, not so fine. I steered straight into a marauder den.
That's fine.
Night fell without a boat light to guide me, so I took a small respite. With nothing better to do, I chanced a narwhale to a bare-knuckle fight. It would have been a glorious fight, no doubt. By morning, my odyssey looked doomed. A wall of cliffs blocked the way. But there has to be an end somewhere, right? So I turned parallel and pressed on.
Like a glove.
Instead, I found myself in yet another cliff-choked stretch, sanity slipping fast. I turned back to regroup, though the shadows weren't about to let me leave without a sea fight.
I don't have much room here, but we'll make do.
Landing safely back home, I salvaged what was left of my old wreckage. I crafted a top hat for sanity, grabbed my floater, upgraded the boat with a deck illuminator, and whacked a lot of spiders because it makes me feel oh so good. The nest also dropped a spider egg, which I planted down by the camp for an easy spider sweep if I'd ever need to blow off some steam again. Back on the boat, I scooped up a message in a bottle.
So there is another island. I seem to have made a significant discovery. I think I'm gonna go in there first.
And to light the way, I attached the deck illuminator to the mast.
Oh! Beautiful.
Rapidly and maniacally, I threaded my way through the cliff head, spearing the sea with frantic little adjustments. The space was tight, and there were a few mishaps on the way. But through the maze of ocean obelisks lay mysterious and untreaded lands.
What's that? What is that? Whoa, what is this? Oh, I'm scared. Knobbly tree. Can we cut it down? What might we find here? Logs. That's all it is.
Only a fool expects anything more valuable than wood from a tree. Deeper I went, where the sea forest came alive with a grass gator. I slowly approached, but happened to steer into a cocoon instead.
Oh! Spooder! On my ship! Oh, they're just regular spiders, I guess. That was weird.
Back to the gator, which I offered a fine set of meatballs.
Come and say hi. Come and say hi, you have meatball here, sir.
He wasn't so easily fooled.
What hides in the sea jungle? Is it treasure, gold, women, men?
I left it a mystery and set course for distant shores, plunging into the deep blue. Dodging a craggy pillar or two, I stumbled into an ocean roundabout, rocky obelisk circling a single watchful eye. Delicately, I navigated through.
Crab King! Ah! A barren sandy fortress. I don't think so. Get ready.
I edged closer.
What have you for me? Do you wake during the night, maybe? I can't attack him.
He was snug like a bug in a rug.
Socket.
I presented a generous veritable of goods, but nothing seemed to appease the crustacean.
He wishes upon something. Meatballs, probably. No? Pirog? I have to find something.
The all-knowing Google told me he would first awake when I had inserted a very specific kind and amount of gems in his little shelly kingdom. Short on gems, I made headway elsewhere, proving myself once again as a seaworthy captain. Well, maybe not seaworthy, but I did reach a new biome with crystallized salt pillars piercing the surface. And flying fish.
Up! Lower anchor. Oh, I sprung a leak. What the f do I do?
My deck illuminator had deserted me, and I was not about to start a campfire on deck.
Repair leak.
The boat patches did a fine job. I just wish I had more.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Cookie cutters! Save the gold! We're sinking, I think. Raise anchor. It's too late. Let's hope I don't die.
I put all the faith I had left in my personal floater.
My light is quenched. A brief respite to gather my strength.
I wiggled my legs trying to propel forward and moved as much as an inch at a time before my strength left me.
Is this how I'm gonna go out? Let go. Never. I'm gonna lose my mind though. Yeah. Another 5 hours to go, Vigfrid. You can do this.
The treacherous sea had other plans.
This is it. Should I go out on my own terms? Now I'm really freezing. Ah!
At the mercy of the ocean, I paused, just for a moment, to reflect. I had conquered all Mother Nature had thrown at me, pierced the eye of Deerclops, danced with the moose geese, trimmed the fur of badger, and I still stood strong. If this was how it all ended, so be it.
This is it. I'm gonna let go. Go out on my own terms. Bye. Hey, what the f... No way! I'm alive! Oh, I'm alive!
Luckily, I had both meatballs and pierogi at hand, and could stay death for a bit while I made it back to camp where a warm campfire thawed me up good.
And we're back, baby.
At this point, I considered the challenge complete, done, finished, story told. So I placed Vigfrid vaguely close to the fire and shut down the game. But why shy away from the hard-won achievement of surviving 100 days straight? Also, I know you'd give me a bunch of crap for leaving this unfinished, so here I am, finishing what I started, with a barking return parade of flaming dogs. My traps already sprung, I had to deal with them the old-fashioned way, beating them with my meat stick.
All I see is flames.
A few of them were poorly handled by the pigs, and 2 of my crockpots was lost to a fire. I didn't have any coal at hand, so we burned down the forest.
Got my crocs back. And we're making meatballs.
Upon my return, I made a list of what to accomplish for my final stint in this game. It would include a meat effigy for resurrection purposes, so we would need a pesty-hatitator, which in turn would require me catching a few rabbits. And I would of course face the monstrous eyeball again. Can't have him flying around willy-nilly.
There we go. This can be enough. To the plains of Africa.
A familiar place, and I had placed a few rabbit traps here before, so the hunt should go relatively smoothly. The meat effigy would also require beard hair, which I'm not going to be able to grow as Vigfrid. That's a thing entirely bestowed upon Wilson, and he's nowhere to be seen, nor do I have a bottle of Rogaine. But another way to get the beard hair is through rabbits, though their dark counterpart. beardlings. They appear when your sanity is below a certain threshold. So I delved into the caves, a good place to go insane. It also so happened to be that I came across the rabbit hutches again. A fiery eviction notice and my eyes lit up with joy as I saw a great beastling of a beardling. After I bonked his head, he scooted off into the distance. But in my grasp again, I finished the job, but Vigfrid being Vigfrid, enjoying the slaughter saw her mental state rise and turned that rabbit white with no beard hair. What an unforeseeable turn of events.
Oh, no, you get sanity. Don't do that. All of a sudden, it's one of Vigfrid's worst qualities. I'm trying to stay insane here, Vigfrid.
A stroke of genius. I jumped back and forth through a butthole. That would drive anyone insane. So I hurried back to the caves to claim what was righteously mine, though the second one tricked me into an ambush. They were a bit too numbery for my taste, so I ascended and waited for daylight before sneaking back in, striking while this one got some shut-eye. I killed 3 more before the 4th one glitched back and forth, giving me a bunny puff. Still, I had gathered enough beard hair, and the traps above were kindled with fresh conies for my prestihatitator. After fashioning such a wonderful hat, I pulled out a meat effigy, painstakingly consuming 40 of my HP, so I wondered if you can die crafting it if you're not careful.
How does that work? It looks like Wilson. Doesn't look like Vigfrid at all.
I had to put my trust that when time comes, it would work for Vigfrid too. With my Gardener's hat on, I thought it would shield me from the weeds' wrath while pulling them up. They bit me all the same. But once enough were gone, they laid down their thorns and peace was declared, leaving me a clean patch of land to farm. A fresh start. I then touched the terrarium once more, and he immediately hatched a batch.
No more eggs. No more eggs. Oh my god! His eye is a big mess!
Flying over my set traps, it was the hambat that worked overtime. I also grabbed a mid-fight snack.
That might have been stale, but I need to kill your kids. Sorry. Why am I apologizing? I'm not sorry at all.
Come morning's chill, he swiveled away. The chill forced me to bust out the thermal stone again, and with the crops still maturing, pierogi would have to wait. But I knew where to find a wild spread of harvestable carrots, and I'm sure the townsfolk wouldn't mind me grabbing a few. In fact, I'm not sure they even lived here anymore. Not since, the arsonist went haywire and burned everyone. Come dusk, I heard back for another shot at opening the Bifrost. This time, he emerged stuck in phase 2. And I got a fair amount of bonks in on his good eye before stabbing his kids and cutting off his sight nerve. He dropped milky whites and an eye mask. Google told me the eye mask didn't have any extraordinary powers except as an armor piece, though Vigfrid really pulled it off.
Really goes with the gingivitis.
I couldn't believe that I hadn't made a miner's hat by this point of the playthrough yet. So I got a net, caught a bunch of fireflies, and crafted me one. I tracked a winter colophant for his winter trunk, and I got a little smacking help from a tentacle. I intended to fashion a winter coat out of it, but I had neglected that I also needed beefalo wool, and by this point I think it's safe to say that they're extinct. With just 5 days left of this elusive 100-day streak, I scrambled for how to spend my time. I said, what the hell, let's see if the beefalo have magically spawned down by the savannah again. Incidentally, I ran into another McTusk family instead. I got the little one down, but had more trouble with Papa Tusk, mainly due to my lack of armor.
Ooh, look at my HP, look at my HP! Look at my fucking HP! Look at my fucking HP!
I didn't think I would get to harvest the power of the meat effigy, but there you go. Though it came with a danger I didn't calculate.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, no, you do not. No. A McTusk is gonna be the downfall of mighty Baba Ganoush? I've never been this offended before.
A day spent fumbling around scrambling for purchase, but I was again somewhat secure and another effigy was erected in my honor. You already know where I headed next. I wasn't about to let a walrus tarnish my name or this run's reputation. All the signs pointed to victory. The reverse ostriches had even flocked to my side in their shared distaste for the McTusks.
Yeah, the sweet taste of revenge.
Grabbing my things, I ran across a flock of flower-bed hounds. They dropped 2 sets of theater pieces, so in the morning I belted my heart out. To no one. Do my sweet voice seem to have offended another set of bushes? I tried every last costume I had, even the doll one that supposedly was the one to use for Act 1, Scene 1, but the curtain remained dropped. But then I remembered the lonely stagehand. Perhaps I would need to bring him to the stage, so I set about finding him. He was stationed quite close as well. I waited till dark for his creepy legs to follow me back to the stage, but to no avail. My terrible singing must have shut the curtain forever. Doggos was on my tail, so I tucked tail and ran. Back at base, they never arrived, so they must have run into some other funny business. I waited out the night, placed the carnival equipment I'd bought from Corvus, which felt like a year ago, traded him a few carnival tokens, spun the wheel of Mr. Goodfeather, and won me some tickets. Keeping the money moving, it's a scam is what it is.
Yay! You always get tickets. Hey, Corvius, I've got like 4 to 6 tickets. You gotta get my Dreamcast.
I gave the stage one last try, and then day 101 rose, along with my achievement.
Ring ding 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 ding, day 101. I actually did it.
I actually did it. I finished the day in the middle of yet another faction fight, and cemented my domination over the McTusks. If you made it this far, I am truly grateful. Do me one more solid though. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the ride, and check out some of my other content, like this 100% run of Arco. And as always,
Eat your vegetables.